Which is the better stock to buy, Amazon or Meta platforms? I'm going to answer that question in this video looking at 4 critical metrics. So let's get right into it, starting with revenue growth. And looking back to before 2019, the two companies have had similar correlated revenue growth prospects. And you see Meta Platforms was ahead of Amazon for a while, then Amazon took the lead, then Meta took the lead, and more recently, Amazon has took the lead with 14.7% revenue growth in its most recent quarter, while Meta's revenue growth has turned negative as it faces several headwinds, including competition and privacy policy changes from Apple. So, no clear advantage here for any of these two companies in terms of revenue growth. So, let's call it a tie with a slight advantage to Amazon in the near term. The next metric I wanted to look at is the operating profit margin for the trailing 12 months. Again, going back in the same time period to before 2019. And you see a whopping advantage here for Meta platforms and operating profit margin, even as it has came down, trending downward at 29.74% in the trailing 12 months, was more than 10 times higher than the 2.58% operating profit margin for Amazon. And this just shows a more lucrative business model than Amazon's. Amazon does not make very much profit off each incremental sales. It's very expensive selling low priced items and offering fast and free shipping to people's homes. I don't expect that business to ever achieve very good profit margins, and it just relies on making very big amounts of sales and to make a small margin on a massive amount of sales to overcome a smaller margin with overall higher operating profits. But that's not the case just yet. So a major significant advantage to Meta platforms in this metric, operating profit margin. The next metric I wanted to look at is cash flow from operations trailing 12 months. And in this regard, Amazon has done a nice job increasing its cash flow from operations until recently. Still an upward trend if you go back to before 2019. Cash flow from operations trailing 12 months of 39.66 billion. Meanwhile, Meta Platforms cash flow from operations in the trailing 12 months of 54 billion, and an even better upward trend. And this is even more impressive when you consider the difference in scale. Amazon generates over $500 billion in sales, while Meta Platforms is just a little over $100 billion in sales. And still, Meta generates significantly more cash flow from operations than Amazon does. And so that just goes to show the more lucrative business model in being in the ad supported social media business. Finally, let's look at valuation to determine which one of these is the better stock to buy. And I have here 3 different metrics: price to earnings, price to free cash flow, and price to sales. And in price to earnings, Meta Platforms is significantly less expensive at a PE of 18 compared to a PE of 103. And Amazon at a PE of price to free cash flow of 239, and Meta at 19. And in terms of price to sales, Meta Platforms is more expensive at 4.4 compared to a price to sales of 2.3 for Amazon. Overall, however, Meta Platforms I would say is less expensive, significantly less expensive than Amazon. And so and I also like its business prospects, its business model better than Amazon. It's got more lucrative sales model. It generates higher profit margins, more significant cash flows. So to answer the question, which one of these two is the better buy, I would say Meta Platforms is the better stock to buy. All right, so that's all I've got for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.